How can a single individual command millions of strangers to obey? How can small communities of just a few dozen people come together to build vast cities, great structures, and colossal empires? And how can an empire survive, maintain order, and control millions of people without an army on every corner? After the agricultural revolution, humans no longer lived in small hunter-gatherer tribes. Settlements grew, with populations growing from a few hundred to tens of thousands, such as Jericho or Çatalhöyük. As these cities grew, the need to manage large populations became urgent. The problem was that the Homo sapien brain could only sustain intimate social relationships with a limited number of people, around 150 individuals. To run a city of tens of thousands, or an empire of millions, a completely new solution was needed. And that solution is imaginary order. Humans began living in cooperative mass networks. They lacked the biological instincts needed to maintain such networks. Two great inventions filled this gap: imaginary and written orders. The first empires built a social pyramid with a common belief system, stories, and myths that were accepted and followed by everyone. For example, the Babylonians believed in the laws of King Hammurabi. The Romans believed in their laws, and the Chinese believed in the mandate of heaven. These orders did not exist in nature or in human DNA. They were maintained by laws, customs, and rituals that were passed down through the generations. Writing was invented to manage these complex imaginary orders. In the past, prehistoric humans only needed to remember simple things like the location of their herds. But when an empire needed to collect taxes, coordinate armies, or distribute food to millions of people, the human brain couldn't handle the sheer volume of information. So a system of recording was invented. Writing started out as simple symbols for recording numbers, like 209.01 liters of barley. It later evolved into complex languages, allowing rulers, priests, and officials to record laws, decrees, and myths about the empire's founding. An empire is not only a political system, but also a cultural order. Empires dominate not only through military force, but also by spreading their culture, language, and beliefs. For example, the Roman Empire not only conquered, but also brought Latin culture, language, and later Christianity throughout Europe and the Mediterranean. Similarly, Cyrus the Great's Persian Empire proclaimed itself a universal political order for the benefit of all. Empires succeeded where money failed. Money can bring two strangers together to trade, but it cannot make them fight together for a common cause. Religion can do that, but it often divides humanity into believers and unbelievers. Empires are different. Empires build a common identity, a vast us that includes the conquered peoples. Though often brutal and inhumane, empires have created great civilizations, been the cradles of art, science, and philosophy, and have contributed to the unification of humanity. However, the foundation of empires is not just abstract imaginary orders, but also a very material element: food. The agricultural revolution and the reliance on cereals have profoundly shaped human history. Most of the first great empires were built on the foundation of the production and control of certain cereals. So why is human history so closely tied to cereals like wheat and rice? What role do they play in the creation of empires?
That is the story of the next video. Why is human history closely tied to cereals?